Good evening, these are the stories making the headlines in the Hot 7 Nightly News. Family members are in shock over the death of their loved ones following a tragic accident on Boxing Day. The NCOPT president says rebate money will not be disbursed until the second week of January and calls for patience on the part of minibus owners. The National Taxi Union accuses the government of sidelining the organization while favoring minibus operators. We have the details of these stories and more coming up.
This is the Hot 7 Nightly News with Lovely and Amy Joseph.
It is Thursday, the 27th of December 2018. Welcome to the Hot 7 Nightly News. I am Lovely St. Amy Joseph. Thank you for joining us. While many are still in high spirits coming after the Christmas celebrations, the families of Ruben Flavius and Kieran Sexius are grappling with the immense grief of losing their loved ones. The lives of the two young men of Jacmel Boaden were cut short on the evening of the 26th of December. They were traveling along the Roseau Ancillary Road on board a motorized scooter when tragedy struck. Solange Alfred reports.
The news of the passing of her son sounded like a bad joke to Luciana Flavius, the mother of one of the young men who died on Boxing Day on the Roseau Ancillary Highway. Speaking with Hot 7 News, she recounted her emotions when she first heard that her son, Ruben Flavius, was dead.
I thought it was a joke. I really didn't pay any good mind to it. But after everybody kept calling and texting and, then I started taking it serious. But the feelings, up to now, I just can't explain how I'm feeling.
The grieving mother described her son as an individual filled with love. She went on to say that while she grieves, so too do the friends of her son.
Nobody's not feeling all right. The young folks, those of their age group, the friends they mingle around with, nobody's not feeling all right now.
A stone throw away from the Flavius residence is the Sexius residence, where another family was in mourning. Ferguson Joseph, the stepfather of Kieran Sexius, reminisced on the final encounter that he had with his stepson.
So Kieran was there with me all the times. Right now he start working. Kieran not somebody that going out. In the morning, Kieran say not going nowhere. Me and the mother leave the house, and after we left, Kieran left on the bike. That's all I can say.
Okay, when you got the news, how did you feel?
I feel bad because I know he's telling his mother he's not going nowhere. And after I hear Kieran dead on the bike, So
how did his mother take that? How did his mother take the news?
Somebody had come in and tell his mother Kieran dead and Ruben dead. And after that we go in there. But up to now they never show us the body until when they left, when they're ready to take out the body on the ground, they showing my stepson the body. Guys, since morning I am sleeping, I just crying. Because I lose my stepson. I lose my son.
According to police reports, the two men were pronounced dead on the scene. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I am Solange Alfred.
Meanwhile, police are continuing investigations into the vehicular accident. A press release by the Royal St. Lucia Police Force has shed light on some of the facts surrounding the accident, which took place at about 7:45 p.m. on the night of the 26th of December.
21-year-old Ruben Flavius and 20-year-old Kieran Sexius, both residents of Boaden and Jacmel, were passengers on a motor scooter traveling in a southerly direction along the Roseau Highway and collided with an omnibus which was traveling in a northerly direction. Both individuals were later pronounced dead at the Victoria Hospital by a medical practitioner. Postmortem examinations are scheduled for a later date. This incident brings the number of road fatalities recorded for the year 2018 to 25.
A female passenger on board the taxi TX 1092 also had to be extracted from the vehicle. She sustained serious wounds and had to be brought to Victoria Hospital. In other news, police are investigating 3 separate drowning incidents that claimed the lives of 3 individuals. On Monday, the 24th of December at about 3:15 p.m., officers attached to the Canries police station responded to a report of a suspected drowning at Seaside Canries. Corporal Ann Joseph of the Police Press Relations Office tells us more.
Robert Joseph, also known as Julian, a 52-year-old resident of Extension Area Canries, reportedly went swimming in the jetty in Canries when he encountered difficulties returning to shore. Members of the public assisted in bringing him ashore, where efforts were made to resuscitate him but to no avail. He was formally pronounced dead at the Victoria Hospital by a doctor, and a post-mortem examination is scheduled for a subsequent date.
Meanwhile, on Wednesday, the 26th of December at about 10:15 a.m., officers attached to the Police Marine Unit in Castries responded to a report of a suspected drowning at Shock Beach. A female body had been identified off the coast of Shock Beach by a member of the public, and the Police Marine Unit was summoned. The body was recovered and later identified as Kieran Benoit, a 52-year-old resident of Foashore, Castries. She was formally pronounced dead at the Victoria Hospital by a medical practitioner. A post-mortem examination is scheduled for a subsequent date. On that same Wednesday, at about 3:30 p.m., officers attached to the Groseley police station responded to a report of another suspected drowning at the Groseley beach near Chapel Street in Groseley.
5 officers from the Gros Islet fire station responded to a suspected drowning at Gros Islet. On arrival at the scene, there was an unknown male on the shoreline in the care of police. An assessment of that individual revealed no sign of life. The circumstances of that incident too are still being investigated by police.
That was Fire Officer David Antoine. The president of the National Council on Public Transportation says rebate money will not be disbursed until after the second week of January. He is calling for patience on the part of minibus operators as he eyes a January meeting with the Minister for Transport. The fuel rebate in the form of a check of $1.1 million from the government was sent to the account of the NCOPT last Thursday. Following the announcement that government was paying up, various minibus associations signaled their eagerness to receive the funds. The Mon Repos, Cicero and Groseley minibus associations were among those who spoke out, saying that minibus owners needed their funds before Christmas. That did not happen. The president of the National Council on Public Transportation, NCOPT, Godfrey Ferdinand, is explaining why. He says the General Counsel of the NCOPT intends to meet with the Transport Minister early in January to iron out some final details before the funds are disbursed.
We are supposed to have a meeting with the Minister, and that is just to clarify the conditions under which we've received the rebate. So after this, the rebate will be disbursed, and we would be looking at a fair review at the time after that. So I'm not sure how the members would accept that, but we would like to have a meeting with the Minister, or should I say that the Minister have requested a meeting with us sometimes within the second week of January. So we would have a meeting with him, and then we would outline all the conditions that is attached to the rebate.
The NCOPT president had forewarned that minibus owners would not receive the funds by Christmas, but some were still holding out hope. Others, like the PRO of the Cicero Minibus Association, said minibus owners had been duped by the government. The NCOPT president says minibus owners will in fact receive their funds. He's asking for patience on their part.
My message to them is the money is there. We are looking out for the best deal for them. Be assured that they would receive their money in January. So just wait, because we don't want to make errors with that, and we want to be sure that everything is in place before the money is disbursed.
So you just want to have that part finalized before you
disburse? Yes, for what period that we are getting it for, and whether or not that we would get the bus fare increase or would continue getting rebate, and for what period of time.
Ferdinand says heading into talks with the minister come January, the NCOPT will discuss the long-term strategy and whether minibus owners will be granted an increase in bus fares or another fuel rebate. Meanwhile, the president of the National Taxi Union has accused the government of sidelining the organization while favoring minibus operators. Lucian Joseph says taxi operators are prepared to receive concessions from government as well.
The recent decision by government to pay out $1.1 million in fuel rebate to the National Council on Public Transportation has left taxi operators wanting something from government as well. President of the National Taxi Union, Lucian Joseph, says while minibus drivers are getting rebates, they pay less in licensing fees. Joseph is convinced that the Minister for Transport is making a deliberate attempt to frustrate taxi operators.
He is going all out to put monies in the bank, $1.1 million. He is giving them rebate on license. They pay less money for us on license than anything else. He is doing everything he can to make sure the taxi sector, the minibus sector is taken care of, but the taxi sector is being left just to fight and do everything. You know, believe me, with the cruise lines around, we will have a Christmas. But this year, as I speak, has been the worst we have ever seen in our life. And all we are asking the minister to do is to release the concession for us.
According to Joseph, taxi operators are losing seats in the industry with the arrival of mega ships. He warns that operators are under serious threat and are in danger of being taken over by the elite.
So when you look at La Place Carénage there, and you see at what is going on and what is happening to us, is that we are now fighting to get vehicles to do work. We don't have enough vehicles because we cannot get the concession, and the drivers are selling the 15-seaters and they're bringing in smaller vehicles. This is the problem that we have, and it's very painful for me. And while this thing is happening, is that you must understand the drivers are agitated, they're fighting against each other, they are not supporting each other, and what the ministry and them have done well, it is to put the division among the drivers that they cannot fight against the system because they are so divided.
The president of the National Taxi Union is asking for concessions to upgrade their fleet of vehicles so that operators can remain viable in the business. For the Hot 7 News, Nisha Charles reporting.
Thank you, Nisha. This is the Hot 7 Nightly News. Still to come, the Health Ministry clears the air on a recent video circulating social media. The Taxi Union president is taken to task by the Grocery Minibus Association, and the Lions Club shares with the less fortunate as part of Christmas celebrations. Stay with us. We have much more coming up.